G'day guys, welcome back to another video. This video is all about the Y62. It's probably our most requested video. Tell us what you did, tell us how much it cost, where did you get it all done, etc. So this video is exactly what you wanted, so this is exactly what you're gonna get. So stick around and we're gonna go through everything about the Y62. Let's get straight into it. So what is the car? So it's a Series 5 2023 Nissan Y62 Patrol. It was a TIL spec. In hindsight, probably would have just gone the TI, considering half of the TIL features we don't use or took them off. So that's really neither here nor there. That's not what you're here to see. Okay, so we'll start at the front, work our way back, and I'll try and do it in the sections of how it was done, how it was built. So first things first, the car. We got the car from Bow Desert Nissan, and they were great to deal with. They organised the freight to and from DMW, who conducted the pre-rego SSM, second stage manufacturing works on the car, so that way we were ready to go. All turnkey, one job, finished, ready to go. So what did they do? So we'll start at the front. They put on the Raslarr Front Bar. Now the Raslarr Front Bar comes with the integrated hoop, steady light bar, and they make adjustments so that way your radar cruise control still fits. Fog lights, they relocate the washers. The car was white, so hence it's white. But yeah, they put LED fog lights, the sensors just under here for your cruise control. The LED hoop light bar, and that was pretty much it for the front. Work our way, they did the we've got the towing mirrors. These are from Clearview, so you just pull them all the way out to your desired width so you can see behind what you're towing. So they're really cool. They are electric adjustable, but they don't, you have to physically pull them out. They don't electrically slide out, but that's okay. Moving down, they did the auxiliary fuel tank. So this was a bit of a work around the back of the car. They had to move the spare tyre up so they could fit the auxiliary fuel tank. So they said, you're going to need a rear bar. So I said, okay, well, it is what it is. So we got a rear bar, double jerry can holder, and the tyre carrier. So now we carry 140 litres, I think, is the standard Nissan Patrol. And the long range fuel tank under here is an extra 152 litres. So that sits just here nice and tight, which is all pretty great. And then what you can just see here with the Raslarr rear bar, they did the Anderson plugs, your 12 pin. Here's your manual top up and deflates for your airbags. And within the Raslarr bar, these are great. These are like spotlights, mate. So these turn on when you put your car in reverse, and they shine up everything. It's great when you're trying to hook on your van at night or just back into tight places, especially at night time. Yeah, and then obviously these handles are pretty straightforward. That swings out your tyre carrier, your jerry can handle, and this is your tyre carrier over here. And there you can get into the back of your car. It is a bit of a pain having to do that every time. Left that up from when I washed the car, whoops. It is a pain having to open them every time you want to get in the back of the car, but you kind of make do. Like, you just make do with the situation that presents itself. So, you know, we wanted this, so you got to deal with that kind of thing. Okay guys, so moving along, we did the GVM upgrade as part of the build with BMW, which is probably the biggest reason we went there. They offer a pretty good package. So the package consisted of a 4499 GVM upgrade, and you maintain your brake towing capacity. So the GCM, I'll show you the plate in a second. The GCM increased from 7 tonne to 7999, and your GVM increased from 3.5 tonne flat to 4499, which is massive. And then, like I said, you retain your brake towing capacity. So it's all been engineered and it's all federally approved. All the stickers are now on the side of the car here. So here's all your info there, your new tyre size information, your Raslarr rear bar information, and here is the most important bit. This right here, that's your BMW GVM upgrade placard there. So everything is approved and in accordance with the rules and regs, which I've got absolutely no idea about, hence why you pay people who do. So that was really good. As part of the program for that, you had to have a wheel and tyre load rating increase. So we ended up going with a 295/70 R18, have to check. 295/70 R18 tyre. We went the Maxxis Razor all-terrains, and for the wheels we went the ROH. We wanted the ROH Assaults, but we couldn't get them at the time. So we end up going with the ROH Crawlers, I'm pretty sure they're called. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. But the ROH Crawlers, and they've come up pretty sweet. Like, I'm pretty happy with those, all things considered. I did really like the ROH Assault wheels, but I think these aren't too bad as the next best option. Anywho, so moving on, that's pretty much it for the BMW build, yeah? So it was a GVM upgrade. It's got a 2-inch lift all around, Dobinson spring rates. They got the plus 150s in the front, plus 300 or 350 in the rear, plus you've got the Airbag Man airbag, HD airbags inside the coils for the rear, and you pump them up. We run them at 60 pound for towing, and completely empty, not towing, because the spring rate's pretty much bang on. So that's really about it. So to recap the BMW build, once we had it shipped down from the dealer, Nissan dealer, they did GVM upgrade, front bar, rear bar, long range fuel tank, and the mirrors and all the towing gear. Once that was done, Nissan delivered us the car, bang, away we went. So we were stoked. Absolutely stoked, and I think that's pretty much all that there is on YouTube so far about the car. What's the rest of the work we had done? Okay, so at the front we got the winch put in through 4x4 DNA Dash Off-Road out of Adelaide. We got a few things done with them. So the 12,000 pound carbon winch, we got that done. We got the Dash 3/4 Y62 roof rack, and whilst I paid and ordered for that, and then I also had Max Tracks and a solar panel delivered to them, and they put them on for me at the same time. Bloody legends they were. So the Max Tracks are on this side, and then if I climb up the top here, the solar panel's just up here. So that's pretty neat. I do have brackets for the awning, but I haven't got to it. Don't know if I will. There's tabs here to put a shovel carrier on. That could be something I probably need to invest in before we hit the beaches of WA next year. I should probably add in here right now that this is being filmed on our lap. We've actually left. YouTube is a long way behind. It's really tricky for me I'm really struggling with all like the editing and stuff. It takes me a really long time, and I just get disgruntled and don't do it for ages. So I'm slowly catching up, bear with me. I think at the moment we're doing the Great Ocean Road. There's some really cool content to come. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. You'll see the car do some pretty cool stuff through SA and NT. And then obviously we're doing the big lap now. So we'll be doing a lot of WA next year, which is going to be really exciting. Lots of sand, beach camp, four-wheel driving to come. So like this video if you're enjoying it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out when I start posting all that stuff when I finally get caught up. Anyway, back to the video. So that was pretty much it for Dash Off-Road 4x4 DNA out of Adelaide. They did the winch, the bar, and the solar panel and the max tracks for me. The snorkel we got done by Ironman 4x4 out of Burpengary. They were pretty great. It was a pretty easy transaction. Went in there, punched a snorkel in, handed the keys back, job done. So that's all I had with Ironman 4x4. They did a really good job. Nice people to deal with. Got me in straight away. Good cash price. Out the door. Bye. That's that. What else? I think... exhaust. A lot of... So many comments. I reckon people still watching the old Y62 video today. Most of them probably hear the exhaust and they're like, I want to find out what's going on. This exhaust... We chose it. It was actually one of the cheaper exhausts you could get on the market. It probably still is. And it sounds great. It's the medium exhaust. There are 3 different levels you can get. This is the medium, the in-between, and I think it's great. It's a little bit drony. I will give it. It's a little bit drony, especially when you're towing. Pretty much nothing when you're doing 100 Ks, just a car on its own. But this car is nearly 4 tonne, yeah? So if you've got a standard Patrol in terms of weight and you put an exhaust on and you're less than 3 tonne, you probably wouldn't have any drone at all. Anyway, I digress. What's the exhaust? The exhaust is a 3-inch catback exhaust with 2 5-inch muffler resonators, I think they're called. So there's one in the center and there's one in the rear, and they're both 5-inch rounds. It is a Redback Extreme exhaust. It was done by Northside Custom Exhaust out of Clontarf on the Redcliffe Peninsula in Queensland. They were awesome. I've forgotten his name. I'll write his name in here. He was a weapon. Him and his missus, they were great to deal with. They had us in and out in a day. I rang them up, said I'd like this exhaust. They said go to our YouTube, pick your exhaust, come in, it'll be done. Great. There was like 2 hours fitted. I was out of there with a hot sounding car. It sounded great. So that's what that is. It's a 3-inch catback exhaust from Redback Extreme. Awesome thing. If anyone follows a few other Y62 building channels, you'll find that Redback is actually one of the most favoured. So there you go. Anyway, there's plenty on the market. Like you could spend up $4,000, quite easily. I remember when I was going to buy this, a lot of people at the time were talking about Bow Desert exhausts and how they're really great, but they don't fit. They're so busy, they just make them and send them. They're like $4 grand. And yeah, I don't know. The exact number, I can't remember. I'm going to put all the prices as I work through them, or I might just save them to the end so you watch the whole thing. How about that? But I think from memory it was about $1,500 fitted for a Y62 exhaust that sounds like this. So we're stoked with that. That's pretty much it. We have inside it's just the GME radio and the iCheck TPMS monitor. Apart from that, the inside of the car in terms of the cabin is completely standard. Didn't change anything. It's still got the wood grain, it's still got everything, mate. Just the way it is. Like, yeah, where do you stop? So I guess we'll probably move on to the back of the car where a whole lot more work was done by me. Everything else has been done by businesses, but me having an electrical background, I figured I would give this a shot. So what do we have? Let's open up the back of the car and check it out. There we go. That's how we travel. All right, so starting on the right, we've got 2 XTM drawers. I got them from BCF. I fitted them myself. I got this extra table so I can pull this out and set it out here So when we're having lunch on the road without the van, you can just make your lunch out of here. It's just full of stuff at the moment. Anyway, so these are a really good thing. I fit them myself, tools and everything are in the top one. And then a couple of hooks. When we've got the pram, I put the pram up here and put a tie strap over that. I've got a Ryobi transfer pump here and a King's Thumper air compressor over here, and the design there is that when we go on the beach we can air up, or do corrugation stuff, we can air up. I think DMW wanted over $2,000. Most businesses are charging over $2,000 to get the ARB air compressor installed with the nice fitting and stuff, and that's great, but I was like, where do I draw the line? I'd already spent so much on this car, and I already had one of these air compressors for $120, I think I paid for it, so that was fine. And then obviously I have the transfer pump, so when we get to the creeks, the freshwater creeks and dams, and we've got a really good filtration system on the van. When we do a 12-month review on the van, we'll cover off on all that sort of stuff, but we can pretty much drink bore water through the filter system. So that's going to be great. Once we get to the west and water becomes scarce, we can just get our water. Got a cool cabana. We've got, this is a folding solar panel. It's too big to go in the caravan, so it's on the back here. The brand is, it's on the other side. I'm pretty sure it's Allspark. If anyone knows Cam Wild Touring channel, they do a lot of work with off-road living, and I think one of their brands is called Allspark. Well, this is it. Bought it purely because Cam Wild said they were great, so I bought one. My experience with this is limited, but I couldn't say the same right now. It might be different in the summertime. I've called the company to talk about it. Haven't got the best results yet, but we'll see. Hoping that more in summertime we'll get better output, but we'll see. Anyways, 40 litre Evercool fridge, pretty standard. It's just full of drinks, mate. That's all we need that for. And then we've got 240, which is from an inverter under the false floor. So the other thing in here is a Y62 false floor from Dash Off-Road, and I fitted that myself. And that was, I took the rear seats out, I took the floor out, and then I put this in, and then built my own 12-volt dual battery setup. So the other thing I forgot to mention, the cargo barrier. It's a K-on cargo barrier, Y62 specific, and that was really easy. It's just a couple of bolts here and here, and they join onto your headrest, and it's done. It was really good to do. So I was pretty happy with that. I just need to lift the headrest off so I can slide the front of this forward to reveal my electrical setup. So here we go. I am a 240 volt electrical and, you know, AC electrical. This is my first ever DC wiring build, so, you know, save your judgment, just check it out. So budget friendly setup this. I think, what did I spend on this? I probably spent maybe, I'm going to guess and say about $2,000 for a full 12 volt setup. It's not very elaborate. Maybe 2.5. There's a bit of gear you forget about under the seat. Anyway, let's go through it. All right, guys, so here we go. We've got 2 of the King's 200 amp lithium batteries in parallel. Yep, King's. And these are great. I can really vouch for these. The output is exceptional. I haven't had any issues with these in 12 months. I've ran these completely flat. I've got a Victron 500 amp shunt, which is a great battery monitor, and that has got me, it's measured all the way down to 0, and then they were still running. They were still going at 0%. So I was really, really happy with these batteries. What have I done? Let's have a look. Got a main, oh gosh, it's really hard with the camera. So I've got a main breaker here, 200 amps. And then I've got 4 breakers in here. There's 2 up the top, 2 in the bottom. It's hard to see with this camera angle. I might be able to. There we go, that's a better camera angle. All right, so I've got 4 breakers here. The 60 amp breaker, this is for the 50 amp. I've got under the floor, I've got to move some stuff out of the way and I'll show you. Under the floor is a Victron MPPT 100 volt 50 amp solar controller, and this is the breaker for it. I've also got a King's DC-DC charger, 40 amp. This is the breaker for that. And then I've got two other 30 amp breakers. The 30 amp, this one here is for accessories. So I've got the fridge and a few other things that down the track will get wired in. That's off this one here. And this one here, this 30 amp is for the AC charger, just here. So this is a Victron 25 amp charger. And this is a brilliant piece of kit. I just have that sitting back here. And when I need it, I've hardwired the ring terminals into the electrical system, and so all I have to do is plug the actual charger into the end of the ring terminals, which I can show you in a minute, and plug it in, which is fantastic. Like when I run it flat and we pull up to a van site for a few days and you need to be able to recharge your system, it's a brilliant thing. It's a brilliant thing. Anyway, okay, under the floor, it's going to be a hard angle. You can see there's a whole bunch of gear going on down here. Anyway, so in the far corner is the DC-DC charger. Just here is a solar controller. Here is the 240 inverter. It's a 1500 watt. I already had it, so that's what went in. Yeah, and then there's also a shunt and a couple other things going on back there. So that was a really cool build. I've never done a DC build before, and so I was pretty pumped to finish it because I could say that I've done one. Would I pay someone to do it in the future? Probably not. If anything, I would probably suggest anyone that has half an idea to do a bit of research, because it's really important for DC about voltage drop, right cable sizing, the correct fusing and circuit protection. You know, I could sit here for an hour talking about electrical stuff. That's what I like to do. But anyway, if you've got half an idea or you think you can do it, give it a crack, because it was actually a bit of fun, believe it or not. Anyway, I just banged these headrests back in here. That's pretty much it, really. There's not a whole lot more to mention. I don't know how I went with this video. If you know, let me know in the comments, guys. Just give me some feedback on this if you thought it was an absolute dog's breakfast, or if I could improve anywhere, or if you think it was great, let me know too. But that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's the rear of the car. Happy with that. Inside's, yeah, pretty much standard apart from that. I'll fire up the exhaust again, because everyone seems to love the life out of it. So I'll chuck the camera down and we'll film that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That is our Y62 built. I mean, you could continue, oh, actually, I got something else I can show you. This was done by Dash. I added this on when they were doing the winch wiring. I said, hey, can you tidy this up a bit? It's starting to get a bit hairy. Let's pop the old bonnet. This will be cool. Again, those that are electrical minded, you'll love it. You've probably seen it before. All right, standard exhaust, standard engine bay, pretty clean, haven't done too much stuff. This is different though. So here's your isolator. This is your isolator for your winch. These here are your, so negative terminal here, positive terminal here. This is your standard fuse relay. What do you call those? Oh, I can't think. I'll put it down in the screen what that's called. Anyways, these are uni lugs. These are awesome. And Dash put in this wire strap here, and all your loads are fed off that. How neat and tidy does that look? That's mint. I really, really like it. And there's still two more fuse boxes there. I can add in other things. Not that I think I need anything else. Wow, look how dirty that gets. I've just washed the car too, and that's still in there. Anyway, that's about it, guys. That's pretty much it. I don't know what more I could really say about the Y62. If you have any questions, at all, put them in the comments below, and I'll answer every single question to the best of my ability. If you're interested in ragging on me and, you know, saying, oh, that was rubbish, be polite about it. You know, you don't have to be nasty. Just tell me that you didn't like it, that's fine. If you've got any other feedback, let me know. Any questions, let me know. If you like this video, give give it a thumbs up. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. Big stuff coming. Have a great one. Okay, here we go. Time to give them the most important numbers. All right, guys, here we go. The Y62. So the car, we bought the car from Bow Desert Nissan, and the car cost us $104,000, and that included the freight from and to DMW to get the pre-rego engineering done. The bill from DMW, the total bill was $38,580, which is a lot, but it was obviously appealing for us to go there because it was a turnkey package. You all had it done. So the breakdown of the DMW stuff was so the GVM to a 4499 kilo GVM was $10,480, which was important because for us that gave us a lot of rear axle weight. And anyone that knows anything about a Y62, they're pretty much maxed out. They're fully loaded when you get them on 3.5 ton. So you need the GVM, and it's important to get it on the rear axle because that's where the weight's going to go. So on that, the front axle gets re-rated to 1,700 kilos, and the rear axle is re-rated to 2,900 kilos, which is massive. If I didn't mention it in the video, but if you can see the orange lower control arms on the rear of the car, they get swapped out. That's part of the DMW stuff. They're orange. Their color is orange, so they spray them orange, and that is a weak spot for the Y62s. Been seen all over Facebook and other forums that they bend or just break. So it's important that they get re-rated and you put the right, you can get billet arms. Billet are very, very expensive. I couldn't tell you what type of material they use, but it's been engineered to handle the weight, so that's good enough for us. The tyres are $5,750 for 5 wheels and tyres. Not much to say about that. We also did the rear upper camber bushes. That was $1,450. That is not mandatory, like that's up to you. We did it, rear upper camber adjustment bushes. The Raslarr front bar was installed for $5,720. That includes the steady light bar and the LED fog lights. The rear bar was $6,785 fitted. The towing gear was $4,600, and that includes your Clearview Next Gen tow mirrors. It includes your brake controller, your Anderson plugs. We've got 2 of those, and the 12-pin plug. All of that is in that cost. And finally, the long-range fuel tank. The long-range fuel tank was $3,795, and that was for 152 litre capacity. And that also has, they change out where you fill. There's now 2 specific holes. There's one to fill the OEM tank, the main fuel tank, and then there's a second hole within the Bowser nozzle area where you can put your nozzle down to fill the 152 litre auxiliary tank. And they wire up the pump for that, and it's a transfer pump, and they wire up a little gauge on the side of the steering wheel column, and you just click the button and it transfers the fuel from your auxiliary tank into the main tank, but the pump brings it up to the top. I'll put a little video in here so you can see the pump actually pumps it at the very top where your Bowser goes in. That's how it fills it up. So that was DMW, $38,580. The snorkel was $1,000, and the GME 370 UHF radio was $995 fitted. So the snorkel, Safari snorkel, was $1,000 fitted, and the GME UHF was $995 fitted. Now I didn't mention that, but Aussie Auto out of Burpengary fitted our UHF radio, and Aussie Auto are great. Everyone that we've dealt with have been great. DMW have an amazing after sales support. I've got the direct phone number for Ben, who is the foreman for DMW, and I speak with him whenever something comes up. If you want to talk about fuel economy, like, put in the comments below and I'll make a whole nother video about fuel economy, because there's a lot of misconceptions, but there's a lot of hard truths about fuel economy in this car. You know, I digress, happens a lot. 4x4 DNA. So we visited them in Adelaide. They are really good to deal with as well. I met David from Dash is his channel. He's a good dude. $4,353 we spent there, and that included the winch install, the strap and all the fuses on top of the battery, the supply and install of the roof rack, and putting on the solar panel for us. $43.53. And lastly, which hasn't been mentioned before on our channel, but we have, doesn't matter, we have bush wraps on the car, and we got that done from Studio Protect at Geelong in Victoria, and they were great. I think they're a husband and wife couple. I don't want to assume, but I'm pretty sure. They were really good to deal with. Great service. Turnaround was one night. Gave it to them on a Monday. Had it back on a Tuesday, and they charged us $3,080 for the bush wraps on the car. So what did that included? A full paint preparation, decontamination of the car. Then they put on the film, and then we also paid separately to do, so the bush wraps is like a set price, and then we also paid to get the bonnet done with a different type of film, just because it's so vulnerable. And you hear a lot of people talk about paint peeling and that sort of stuff, but I think our car is past that time. I think Nissan sorted it out by then. But anyway, we did it just as a safety measure. So Studio Protect, bush wraps and the bonnet was $3,080. So that brings the grand total of the build to $152,008. If you're following along, that'll add up to $152,008. That's how much it cost to build the car. And that doesn't take into account a few other things that we did. Obviously, we did the rear drawers ourselves, because I was getting quotes for like $4 or $5 grand for drawers and the supply of a fridge. No 12 volt, that was additional. And it was getting to the point where I was just, you know, like, obviously, if you know our story, we sold our house and everything, well, most of the stuff that was in it, sold our cars, and we funneled it into a car and a caravan. It was getting a bit tight, so I ended up doing it myself and did the whole thing for probably about $2.5 grand, I'd say, all done. So you can definitely, like I said, if you've got half an idea, give it a crack. Just know your rules about stuff. Google's your friend, mate. Everyone knows a whole lot of stuff, all right? Get some advice if you need it. Ask me a question if you want. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Punch it in. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, just write them in the comments below or DM us and we'll get back to you. It's not a problem. Thanks so much for watching. That's our Y62. We'll see you in the next one.